Hi everybody, welcome to my final project. I'm Maria Paz Vega Gonzalez, and today we're going to talk about the fragility and instability of employment for informal workers because of pandemic of coronavirus in Colombia. Well, the pandemic of coronavirus affects the majority of economic sectors due to different factors. Principally, the lockdown established by government, unemployment, and economic stagnation. Naturally, this economic crisis generated an instability in all workers. Nevertheless, the most affected group was the informal workers because the situation worsens because Colombia and in general Latin American countries have a high numbers of informal employees. In 2020, informality reached a was around of 48.7%. Well, the reason informal workers are one of the most affected groups in pandemic is because the employment of this group is more fragile and stable. In the first place, informal workers receive less income than formal workers. According to a study of Universidad Nacional de Colombia, formal workers receive approximately double salary than informal workers. In second place, informal workers don't have economic protection because they don't have a formal contract. So in this time of pandemic, the laboral uncertainty increases for them. In third place, informal workers are living a health problem because they don't have social security. And in the high crisis that generated the COVID-19, this can represent a big problem for them. And finally, the majority of informal workers can't perform their activities virtually. I'm going to give an example. One of the biggest at the store sellers, and their situation has been crucial in the pandemic because they can't. Confinement prevents them from going out of the stores, and also the flow of people in the streets nowadays is so reduced. Well, we pose two solutions for the critical situations that is living informal workers. The solution for this problem has to be resolved the root. The companies in Colombia don't be part of formality because it implies a series of economic and expense that they can't solve. The first solution to a long term is the government to give more ease about economic and tribute for companies. This can work as an incentive in the companies begin to see the formality as a viable option for their workers. Actually, they will be more motivated to get into formality and decrease informality rates in the country. For example, the Colombian government can give a monthly subsidy to PYMEs that are small and medium business and that compose around 90% of labor fabric in Colombia. This subsidy can serve to pay a percentage of payroll of parafiscal social security, pension, and so on, relieving the economic burden that companies have to do. Well, the second solution is implement a basic income in Colombia in a focused way. This solution is to short term and immediately. We have to consider the basic income is a mechanism of protection for all kinds of extreme situations that humanity has to affront. The basic income assure access to the basic goods of the canast, and in this case, informal workers will get important financial relief. Basic income was implemented in Iran and it had a very successful result in the healthy and wellness of people, in the economy in general, and decrease the anguish of people. Nevertheless, levels of corruption in Colombia and people generate irregularities in the system, stronger conditions for input and output of these subsidies In addition, they have to have a particular list of people that could access to this benefit and to trace into the situation of them. Definitely, no government, no company, no family, no person in general had an emergency plan for the situation that we are living in this moment. Nevertheless, we have to face the fact that the economy will be different, hence the laboral life, the job, and all dimensions of our life will be different. We have to see this situation as an alternative to change all economic, social, and culture that we had like a country, the company, employees, and people. On one hand, I think that basic income will be successful, but it's an alternative with which to act cautiously because it could be counterproductive in Colombia. In the first place, people can get used this subsidy and we could convert in a lazy society. Also, I think that in other opportunities, these subsidies have had irregularities by the government and by the people. So we have to change that group mentality if we want to see change. On the other hand, I think that this is a very functional alternative to act against the COVID as to an economic, social, and laboral progress. The improvements for the country could be permanent, like life quality of people and workers will be better. It was all for today. Thank you for your attention and have a nice day.